All right, what's going on, everybody? Sorry, we had a little technical difficulties. I'm out of town right now, so I'm struggling with the Wi-Fi connection. So I'm having to do it from mobile. But today, pretty exciting day. We're gonna have liquid loans on today, and I want to come at it from a new perspective because I've only been in crypto a few months. Well, about 10 months, and I've been following you guys, and it's very exciting what you guys are doing, especially on the Pulse chain. And I just I want to get your perspective on things towards a new user. So I
Okay.
mean, if you want to start out, just tell us a little bit of what y'all are doing and what really inspired y'all to do it on the Pulse chain.
Yeah. So PulseChain. Why did we pick PulseChain? Well, um, the founders and team members of Liquid Loans will be substantial Pulse holders for one. We are into another Richard Hart project, which happens to be Hex, and we're already members of the community, and
Right.
there has to be adoption to the chain, right? There has to be things built on this blockchain if we want it to succeed. So we picked up the torch and we said, we're going to do this. We're going to bring something valuable to the community and build this community um, protocol. Um, and that's why we're here. Now, what does Liquid Loans do? Well, it does a number of things. But simply put, it turns you into your own bank. So you can draw a loan out against your own crypto, so you don't have to sell your most appreciating assets. So um,
That's key. That's key
historically,
for me for sure.
let me ask you a question. Right, you
All
say
right,
you're
go
new
ahead.
to crypto, fairly new to crypto. Um, have you heard the term, take profits? You
100%. And
need to
this is a
take profits.
question I was going to ask you too. But yeah,
Yeah, and you may have even heard people tell you, "Oh man, you need to get your initial out as quick as you can." Right?
yep,
Um, like it's ingrained in people's heads that they need to sell. They're told right from the beginning, like yourself, people are encouraging you to sell, sell, get your initial out, take profits, take profits. Um, and I don't think it's, you know, um, there's different ways to go about preserving wealth. Like if all you're after is some quick, small gains, then sure, anybody can follow that advice.
right.
Um, there's, uh, I mean, there's value to be said for somebody who can take, you know, $500 and turn it into $1,000 and then be proud of that. But on the other hand, that's not the behavior that the wealthiest people in the world use to preserve their wealth. The wealthiest people in the world will take that same $500 worth of an asset and they will literally never ever sell it. Whether and of course over time, as wealth grows, it's way more than $500 that people end up with. But imagining imagine buying $500 worth of an asset, and that
Right.
asset goes up in value and becomes worth $1,000, and then $10,000, and then $1,000,000. Bitcoin is a great example of that. Bitcoin was, fractions of a penny initially, and then it just went up and up and up, and now it's whatever it is now, $40,000. At one point, it was getting close to $70,000 a piece. Millions
Right.
upon millions of X. Homes do the same thing. Unfortunately, cars do not do the same thing unless it's like a classic car of some sort. Um,
Right.
Businesses, ball teams, a good stock, like things, that, real estate. There's assets that just appreciate and are known to appreciate over time.
Right.
Those are the assets that you don't want to sell.
100%.
because you're losing out on opportunity costs the moment you let it go. And if you start with a particular coin count, when you sell, that coin count shrinks. Now you have less. So here's a example. You start out with 100 coins. Okay, those coins are worth, say, 10 cents a piece. Let's say that the price doubles, and now they're worth 20 cents a piece. And you've heard over and over and over, take profits, take profits. So as soon as the price doubles to 20 cents, you get it in your mind that you're going to sell half of them. Okay, so you sell half of them. What do you have left? You started with 100 coins. Now you only have 50.
Crazy.
Right? And then as the price moves around, you're always attempting to sell a little bit more and sell a little bit more. And you're able to turn that into a different crypto, which happens to be maybe a stable coin. But you've just stagnated the value of what you had in. So instead of the value continuing to rise, you've taken that economic value and you've put it into something that's flat. Okay. And you've cut your coin count down in the thing that's appreciating for you. It doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
Okay. And this is what everyone tries to tell you to do. So
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something, people as newcomers, they don't quite understand, quantity outweighs, dollar signs, especially in an appreciating asset. And, what I really want a lot of because this was new to me too, when I heard you talk about it the first time on, I think it was Rags the Richest stream, it was like an aha moment for me, because I always thought, I got in listening to people, make sure you take profit, like you just said, make sure you take profits, make sure you get your initial out. And, that's something I really want to engrave into people's minds. But then, I want to introduce them to something like you guys have. But then a lot of people are scared of it, because they're scared, they see the word liquidation and they run away, you know, and it's not because, it's just because they don't understand it, and that's, it just really needs to be explained to people in the right way so it doesn't scare them off.
Yeah. So the term liquidation is certainly scary in many crypto environments, right? So if you were to go to a place like KuCoin or Binance Exchange and leverage trade, where you're taking a little bit of money and then they're giving you money that you don't have, and then you're 5xing, 10xing, 100xing your what you actually have in value, and you put that into a trade and the price goes against you, you're going to lose all your money. They get to keep what they gave you, and you just lost everything that you brought to the table. And this happens all the time, and there's these things called cascading liquidations, and on these exchanges, the exchange holds all the coins. It's very easy for them to wick the prices when they need to, when things start to get out of hand, and just cascade a whole bunch of liquidations and just take everybody's coins. So then there are a lot of coins just turn into, yeah. Then they already have a lot of coins, but then they just collected a little more because they just took what you brought, which was a little bit, and they just added to their own stack. And now it just made them more efficient to do it to the next people. So they just do it over and over and over. They just take coins from people. Every now and then you could get lucky and you could, make a significant amount, but it's very rare. Most people go into these exchanges and they leave with less than they entered them with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what's different about that than liquid loans is, with liquid loans, you have you're bringing more value to the table than what you're given. So you bring in some coins, some pulse, you're bringing in a certain value, and then you're only taking a loan out on just a little bit of that. Okay.
Right.
You've got all that extra room up above where the price can move all around. Right. And you set that level. You can say, well, I want to be, 1% loan to value ratio, or I want to be 50% loan to value. Now, we like to use the term collateral ratio, which is kind of inverse of that.
Right.
But like you literally set the level at which if the market turned against you, you would lose your Pulse coin. But what's beautiful about this system is if you're holding Pulse liquid, not even using the protocol, you would have nearly the same exact value if you were just holding liquid. So let me give you an example, just so people who are scared of the term liquidation, so they really understand it with this protocol. And I'm not saying that people should purposely liquidate. There's an advanced use case for purposely liquidating yourself. If you think the markets are going to turn against you, you could use this as a stop loss. I'm not advising that. But I just want people to understand what happens when you're liquidated. So let's say you had, let's say for easy math, you had $100,000 worth of Pulse, and you took a $10,000 loan. Now at that point, you're heavily collateralized. You're 1,000% collateralized, and the markets would have to turn against you 89%, or 89.9% or whatever before your Pulse coins were taken away from you. So here's what happens: you put in $100,000 worth of Pulse, you mint yourself $10,000 with a stable coin. You go do whatever you want with those stable coins, and you see the markets are going up and they're going down, they're going up. Maybe your $100,000 worth of Pulse turns into $200,000 worth of Pulse. All right, if you're 1,000% collateralized, now you're 2,000% collateralized. Okay, you're so heavily over collateralized at that point that you would likely just mint some more stable coin. Now, let's say it doesn't go your way and the markets start to turn against you, and that $100,000 worth of Pulse becomes $90,000 worth of Pulse, and then $80,000 worth of Pulse. And these things don't happen overnight. You don't see a 90% dip in a native coin of a blockchain in one day. Doesn't happen. All right, so you're watching it and you say, wow, what should I do? I should either pay back some of my loan, or maybe I just let it ride. You just decide to let it ride. Maybe you even mint yourself some more stable coin. You say, well, the markets are acting weird. Let me mint myself, $20,000 more. Okay, so you mint yourself. Now you have $30,000 worth of stable coin. $80,000 worth of Pulse keeps going down, and you're looking at the charts, and Pulse looks really bearish. Okay, and Pulse gets down all the way to $33,000, and at which point you lose your Pulse coin. Why did you lose your Pulse coin? Because you already got $30,000 up front. It's already yours. You're already doing other things with it, making other money with it. And then Pulse continues to go down. Okay, and now maybe it's only worth 10,000. You just had a stop loss in that case.
Yep.
And if you hadn't even have been using the protocol, if you had not even taken a loan, you could have started with $100,000 and it would have gone down to 90, 80, 70, 60, all the way down to that same exact level. But the guy who took the loan, he had that value minted right up front, and he's already doing other things with it. So it's not the same at all
Right.
as leverage trading on an exchange where you lose all your money.
Right.
In liquid loans, you would only lose your Pulse if the value of your Pulse fell to what you've already been given.
Yeah. And see, that's what I really think people, they need to understand, because all they see is, people talking about liquidation, and, most of them are just referring to, leverage trading and stuff like that. But, there's ways to be safe when you're doing loans, and the protocol puts it in place to, keep you safe. But Mr. A has a question right here. Taking liquidity as a reference point, what percent APY can we expect from loan staking? Say you have $1,000. what would be a 30-day return?
Well, it's hard to compare against Liquidity for a couple reasons. The numbers are very, very good over there. You can look at Dune Analytics, and you can see just the average of the staking of LQTY. It's something like the all-time average is 168%. Let me just double check that. Here we go. All-time average. Okay, 209, 200. All-time average 166. So 209% for an all-time average. It's not even a year old yet. But within that, there's people who have much higher averages, the early adopters, of course. And then you have people who are later participants who are floating around 25%. Right? So it's all about when you get in. Now, the reason it's hard to compare is because, one, sideways ETH price, sideways collateral, or even down, right? When they launched, it was at the top of ETH, right? And then ETH crashed in May, and then just continued to go down. But now ETH has been bouncing around between $2,000 and $4,000. Okay.
Right.
User adoption. They have 1,300 users over there. We have like 10 times that. We haven't even launched yet. Their marketing kind of sucks. All right. They almost non-existent. They have some education tools out there, some good YouTube videos. Their website's very white and just plain and bland and boring. And that's how all their marketing is over there. It's just so boring. And they also have competition with like 25 different other lending protocols. But on the PulseChain, Liquid Loans is the only known lending protocol and algorithmic stablecoin protocol that's known to be launching. Okay, so when you take all those factors into consideration, you could say, well, even in the midst of all that that uphill battle, the average over there is still 209% APR. What could we possibly do on PulseChain when we're launching at the very bottom and we expect that PulseCoin would likely appreciate severely? And with the way these things tend to work, as the collateral value goes up, the loan fees get bigger, which makes the loan token more desirable, right? Because now you can stake them and the fees are just bigger and bigger and bigger. So like there isn't a model that we've run that hasn't shown that loan staking or LOAN token staking isn't going to be much better, like significantly better than what people have seen over on the ETH chain.
Right.
But we don't have a crystal ball. It is completely dependent on PulseChain and the price performance of PulseCoin itself.
Right. And another thing I want to add about, the marketing and stuff. This is, when I first got into crypto, I was messing around on the other side. I wasn't in Richard Hart Project or anything like that. But, I got a little taste of what it was like over there. And, ever since I moved over here into this ecosystem, the marketing is outstanding. And it's not by anybody that's, paid to do it or anything like that. It's incredible. And it just blows my mind how you have these other, multi-billion-dollar evaluation projects, and they don't have what this community has, and it's insane. A lot of people are missing out. A lot of people are gonna be upset when the gates finally come down from this community and see what they've missed out on. And it's just sickening, man, to see how people just push us in the background and don't allow, people to see this greatness that's going on over here. It's crazy. But this question here, by Mr. A again. Would you proactively push for a listing USDL on exchanges? It will help for fiat on and off ramps. You got any?
Yeah, we already are.
Oh,
And we're also talking, yeah, we already are. And
cool.
there's a number of different avenues we're taking to ensure that we can have a fiat off and on ramp. Okay, so whether that's exchanges or that's a pool of USDL that then an organization can release fiat to your bank account when you send to that pool, we're looking at a number of avenues. And I'm fully confident that we'll have, and this doesn't happen first day that we launch. It's not like we launch and it's like, oh, there's a fiat on ramp immediately. But we are working through some things and intend on having a good variety of fiat on and off ramps straight to the PulseChain.
Right. Let me see here. There's a few more questions guys are asking. Say I lock my points for 24 months. Do you see a significant dollar value portfolio advantage be staking from day one without locking?
Yeah, actually, I do. This is a great topic. So you can lock your SAC points and you can get a known multiplier bonus all the way out to a 2.5x multiplier. Now, some people say, well, I'd rather come out on day one and I can stake immediately and start earning the fees. And I can get a 2.5x my value. That's easy. Okay. Your value, that's the key word there, not your token count. Because where do you think you're going to get the tokens from? If you wanted 2.5x your bag size, but the token is just going up in value as the value of Pulse goes up. Let's say Pulse does a 200x or a 500x or something, which is not unusual, by the way, in the first year or two for a native coin of a blockchain. So if Pulse coin does like a 500x, and in turn, the loan token, because the fees are just so much bigger as it's doing that. Let's say the loan token also does a 500x. Do you really think you're going to get it? You think you're going to pick up enough of them to ever 2.5x your bag size? You may be collecting a lot of fees, but at the same time, those tokens are just getting so darn expensive. Good luck. Okay. And then you also have to consider there are some other ways to acquire these loan tokens, such as being in the stability pool and you can earn these things. But there's always more people coming in on top of you. Right. And the rate gets decreased each year, which kind of leads into this question. Well, I guess I'll finish up the first point. Delayed gratification normally wins. That's what I believe. It's proven itself with Hex. It's proven itself with even Bitcoin. If you had just delayed your gratification and continued to hold the Bitcoin that you bought back in 2000, the mid 2000s, you'd be extremely, extremely wealthy right now. So the same should hold true with a loan token. If you can get a large sum of them with a multiplier and delay your gratification, and then those unlock whenever you dictate it, right? 6-month, 18-month mark, 2-year mark, or whatever. You're literally coming in on top of other people who put in the same economic energy as you, but you have more coins than them. And you're doing it at a time when the fees have gone significantly up because the value of Pulse has also gone up. So nobody has a crystal ball. Maybe it's a good idea to ladder, right? Simply because we just
right.
Inflation, it doesn't really have inflation. All of the coins are that are ever going to be minted are minted on day one. They're all in existence. However, there is a release pool. It's just a pool that gets trickled out to the stability depositors. And the rate at which it's trickled out gets cut in half every year. Right. So it's just harder and harder over time to earn those things. And while I can't give you the exact distribution of what the sacrifice set addresses might have, I can say that this is a community-owned protocol, and the lion's share of all of these tokens is amongst the community. Can I talk about the liquidity and pairs for USDL? Sure. So you'll find USDL paired to Pulse, USDL paired to Hex. I'm sure you're going to find it paired to a lot of other projects, tokens. There's other community projects out there that have already said, hey, we'd like to use USDL as our stablecoin that we pair our token to. Okay, so you're going to find some of those. A couple of which will be incentivized, meaning you can add liquidity and then get extra incentives for adding liquidity. So for a period of time at least. So you can get paid out, for example, in loan token for adding liquidity to the USDL and Pulse pool, right? Do it through our DApp, add to that pool, and you'll actually get rewarded in loan token. I think that answers your question. Yeah, there's going to be pools. And then you also have to remember that every USDL ever minted is fully backed and redeemable inside of the protocol. And there ends up being arbitrage opportunities back to those dexes, you know. So as the value of the USDL goes down, because stable coins aren't just stable because we say they are. Stable coins are stable because when people dump them and the price moves, there's some sort of opportunity for people to buy it back up to $1. And that opportunity inside of this protocol happens to be you could just take those back into the protocol and redeem them for $1 for the Pulse. So yes, there will be liquidity pools, arbitrage opportunities in those pools back to the the protocol, and the pools are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger as more and more of this is minted when the value of Pulse goes up. And I think what you'll see is as Pulse goes up in value, more and more and more USDL will make it out into the markets. As Pulse goes down in value and people decide they want to pay back some of their loan, improve their collateral health, that the value of Pulse is going down, you'll actually start to see the supply of USDL start to shrink.
Right. Now, I have a question before we jump to this one. And is there any plans? I mean, I'm sure there is some kind of plans like on the roadmap for accepting any kind of other assets for collateral besides Pulse.
Possibly. But it's you have to there's risks when you start to introduce random tokens. So why would you want to use Pulse? Well, Pulse has like thousands and thousands of liquidity pairings. For a whale to manipulate the price, they could go to one pool and they can wick the price. But when you have time-weighted averages in place, remember there's thousands of other pairings. So there's always an immediate arbitrage opportunity where people can just buy Pulse cheap from this pool he tried to wick the price down to and go sell it into any one of the other thousands of pools, right? So for a whale to manipulate the price and try and wreck people, they have to give away like the trillions of dollars. It makes no sense. Right. Because they have to hold the price down for so long, and they're literally giving away free money while they're trying to hold the price down. And what do they have to gain? Like nothing, because if they ended up liquidating, if one account ended up being liquidated, like that liquidated Pulse gets spread amongst a big community. So it's like, it's very possible you might gain like 30 cents worth of Pulse. And it's like, what did that whale gain? He gave away like billions and billions of dollars trying to wick the price. Now, if you try and if you collateralize or allow collateralization of a random coin that only has one pool or two pools, that's not the case. A whale could go there and just wick the price and hold it down pretty easily because there's no place for arbitrage to happen. And that's when everyone gets wrecked. Okay, so you want to have the collateral, the most liquid asset on the chain, not some random token. Now, there could be exceptions to that if there's enough liquidity pools, if there's enough exchanges that carry the token and stuff. I mean, you could do this with certain assets. One last thing to consider: people keep asking, "Will you do this with PulseX?" I don't think so, because PulseX has admin keys. Okay, PulseX. Richard said he's not going to do an audit, even though he changed the code. How many liquidity pools are there going to be for PulseX? Maybe 2, 3, 4. You're not necessarily going to find it paired to Chainlink and paired to Shiba Inu. You're not going to find thousands and thousands of liquidity pools. So then it goes back to the thing I just told you about. So for all those reasons, and because our code is immutable and audited and will be audited again before we launch, we just can't do that. As much as people don't want to sell their PulseX, I'm sorry. If you want to extract value, you're going to have to sell that PulseX or that secondary token. Just keep that in mind.
Right. And it's cool also that Richard, kind of, gave a little sneak peek about staking the PulseX. That kind of changed everybody's, game plan around PulseX. So it definitely changed mine, but that's, every time we think we got stuff figured out, here comes another, a little ball from left field to put a twirl in things. But Mr. A also had a good reason here. If the contract is immutable, how can you introduce other tokens as collateral apart from PLS?
Yeah, it would be a separate contract, completely separate.
Right.
And it would, like, even the USDL that it makes, it wouldn't be USDL. It would be something different. Right. Now, here's where it gets interesting, though. So when we launch on other chains, we could use USDL. It wouldn't be the same contract number, but we could have, let's say you can collateralize Phantom, right? And it produces a USDL over on the Phantom chain, which is worth $1 of its own collateral, right? You could still make a bridge so you could still go back and forth, if you had a pool on each side of the bridge. So a USDL on any chain that you go to is worth $1 of its own native coin on that blockchain. But each one of those blockchains would be a separate contract. And if we launch this for, say, Hex, it would also be a completely separate contract on, even though there's two collaterals, it's not like your vault could hold two different coins. It would be two different vaults with two different minted stable coins, two different contract numbers for different stable coins.
Right. Mr. A, again, can you spend some time talking about the security of the smart contracts and the vault? How safe is it for PLS?
Yeah, so it's your keys, your coins. It's just a smart contract you interact with. The code's actually not all that complicated. You can go look at it. You can go to Liquidity and you can look at all the contracts that make this work. You can look at the vault contract, and they've been audited multiple times. They're secure enough that Coinbase have picked them up under Coinbase custody and Coinbase, the regular Coinbase. You can buy LQTY. They haven't picked up LUSD yet. I'm sure they will soon. There's a Nexus Insurance that's heavily looked at it and audited it and said it's all good to go. But at the end of the day, listen, it's literally your keys, your coins, your seed phrase. Don't give up your seed phrase. There's like your pulse never leaves your own custody. You just interact with a smart contract that says, in the event that your pulse ever goes down in value so much that it's like really close to the value that you already minted in stablecoin, that you would have to lose your pulse, right? That's basically what the contract says.
Now another thing I kind of want you to explain, because a lot of my viewers, when I started creating content, it wasn't about Hex or anything like that. So I did gain some viewers, um, outside of the Hex ecosystem. So that's really kind of what inspired me to start doing this. Is, kind of try to pull them back over here. And but can you? Because I've had a lot of questions about the recovery mode. Can you kind of go in detail about that a little bit?
Yeah. So the system needs to maintain a healthy state, and recovery mode is not a desirable state to be in. Basically, what that is if the average collateral health amongst all the vaults is below 150%, then the system has to allow some liquidations to occur to bring the average collateral health back up over 150. Now, it will open up the ability for accounts to get liquidated from the bottom up, but the same rules apply. Only 110% of what you've already minted. So even if you had like X dollar value in Pulse, and you had taken X value in USDL, like you're not going to lose all your Pulse. You're only going to lose 110% of what you've been minted, and it's only if you're the very smallest or lowest collateralized vault, way down at the bottom, who's already at 110%. It would liquidate, and it would maybe go to the next vault, maybe even the next one, but it just drove the average collateral health of the entire system back over 150. Now, this has happened like one time over on the Liquidity protocol, and that was right after it launched, when there was not a whole lot, like users were just starting to figure out that this protocol existed. And it happened that ETH did like a huge market dip, like 30% or something, like in May of last year. Okay, this is like Liquidity went into this state like one single time. It recovered really fast, and it remained in a healthy state ever since. Is there a way the security exchange could come after USDL? Well, it is literally impossible. So what they're doing is what they're after right now is the fiat-backed stablecoins.
Right.
There's a lot of stable coins that are like fractionally reserved, and they're off of the value of fiat. There's nothing backing them, or they're not fully backed. And then like people are really screwing around with taxpayer dollars. And in the case of like Tether, like they just mint and burn however they want to. And then they even had like a large portion of all their fiat invested in a big company that ended up going bankrupt, and then all that money's lost, and like literally everything's fractionally reserved. So it becomes a problem when you represent a fiat dollar, like with something like USDC or USDT, and it's supposed to be backed by a fiat dollar, but it's not. Okay, and it's concerning, right? So these governments have to step in, and they have to have some oversight of that. Now, what's different about that than USDL? USDL is not backed or redeemable for a dollar, for a fiat. It is fully backed and redeemable for a dollar's worth of Pulse. And it's all written in code on the blockchain where nobody can stop it. So regardless what any politician says or thinks or wants to do, the code will just continue to run for all time, and there's nothing that anybody could do. Nor are we beholden to, like, we're not a centralized institution with banking licenses and money transfer licenses and all these things that have to answer to those authorities. So when you get into like Circle and Tether and stuff, they have all these licenses and rules and regulations that they have to follow. They do have to answer to these lawmakers. Right. This is different. It's just code. It's just code on the blockchain. That's all it is.
Right. It's beautiful. And one topic I know everybody's excited about and is the sacrifice phase. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Do you have any details for us or that you can share?
Yeah, it's really soon. It's really soon. Like, could be like days away or a day away or a week away. Awesome. Right? Any moment, the sacrifice phase could start. And you're sacrificing for your belief that there's a better way, right? That you're sick and tired of the centrally backed, very high counterparty risk stablecoin systems, where they could literally turn your coins off at any time if they wanted to, that aren't fully backed and redeemable. Like, it's just there's a better way. Okay. So you're sacrificing for your belief in the hopes that something better will emerge in the PulseChain. Now, there are bonuses, 10,000 points per sacrifice dollar. And then there's a bigger, better. So, like, depending on the size of your total size coming in, you can get all the way to a 2.5x volume bonus. But then there's also a longer, better, 6% every month for if you decide to lock some of your points. You can ladder. You can do multiple different sends and have some of your points unlock immediately. Some unlock, at various intervals all the way out to 2 years. And that goes all the way out to 2.5x as well. So really, like, you're getting like multiple bonuses. Imagine if your total volume bonus was like a 1.5x or something. Okay. But then you also decided to lock for 2 years. That means you get a 3.75x on, your count. Now, people often ask, we talked about it earlier, do you want loan tokens that you can stake immediately for the fees? Or do you want a higher quantity of loan tokens that will unlock later on when the fees are likely to be the highest, right? Over time, as Pulse appreciates, the fees will just go up and up and up. So that's just a personal choice everyone's going to have to make.
Right. Now this one here. So to cash out USDL, we swap it for PLS, then bridge that PLS over to the ETH chain, then swap that for, say, ETH, and then move it to an exchange to off-ramp.
That's one way. Yep. Right. So until there's a fiat off-ramp directly where you can just send it to the fiat off-ramp, swap it for something that's bridgeable. And I'm not going to say go back to ETH. There's lots. I hear there's 6 different bridges that I hear are launching on the PulseChain. Like, so if ETH is like super expensive to go to, like, who says you have to go there? Why not go to Binance Smart Chain or Phantom Chain or something like that?
I didn't even know that. That's cool. I didn't even know that.
Right. So, cool. But yeah, swap for something that's bridgeable. Get over to that chain, acquire something that, like, for example, Coinbase or your exchange carries, and then send to your exchange. And then people are going to ask, well, what about the taxes? You just did a swap. Well, that's really like value for like value, right? You've got a loan. Let's say you got a $10,000 loan. You swap $10,000 worth of USDL for $10,000 worth of, say, Chainlink, so that you can go through the bridge with that. And then you sold the Chainlink for ETH, or just send it directly from there straight to. That's the easiest way, actually. Just send that directly to Coinbase, like where there's no capital gains. And actually, now that I think about it, swapping into Pulse, going through a bridge, and then having to swap out of Pulse into ETH, you just introduced an extra step for yourself. You could literally swap into something different that you know is on Coinbase, right? Swap into something like Link, go through the bridge. You'll have Link on the ETH chain and just send it immediately to Coinbase. Why do you have to go to Uniswap an extra time?
Right. That's
not trying to discourage people from swapping into Pulse, right? We all want Pulse to pump, but if you're just going to dump it on the other chain anyway, all you've done is like transfer value out of you just brought value out of Pulse chain, right? So just find something that Coinbase carries or whatever, like right off the bat. Say something like Link, transfer that over to the ETH chain, send it straight to Coinbase or another chain, Phantom chain, Avalanche, wherever.
Now, one question I want to ask you, because I mean, everything you've been saying so far is awesome, man. Like I said, I'm still new, and I learn something every time I listen to you guys. If you had to say, a couple of sentences to a new person about the Pulse chain and liquid loans, what would it be?
Well, PulseChain is going to be great because it's brand new. It's on the ground floor, but there's a lot of stuff already over there that's going to be over there, right? So typically the best opportunity to get into something in crypto, of course, is to get in on the ground floor. If you had been in on MATIC a year and a half ago, you'd be up 400x. Okay. If you had gotten in Binance Smart Chain a couple years ago when they launched, you'd be up whatever they are, 800 or 1200x or something. 1200x your money. And the same is true on a lot of these different chains. Phantom Chain, 60x or whatever it is, Avalanche, 30 or 40x, whatever. Like you want to get in early. This is no different. It's a brand new shiny object. It's a brand new blockchain. Get in on the ground floor. But what makes it better than the other ones? There's a lot of stuff that's already there. Like all these tokens that are being copied over from the ETH chain. Like all these liquidity pools are fully stocked. It's going to have a pretty cool swapping platform, PulseX. Uniswap's already going to exist. You're going to have like a handful of things that are just already there, ready and working. And people are going to check out their free airdrop, their free tokens.
Oh, yeah.
Once people hear about it, they're like,
man.
yeah, what do you mean I have free tokens over on this other chain? All of my tokens were copied, right? People are going to come. And even if they decide to dump them, that's cool too, because they're just dumping them for Pulse anyway.
And they're still getting that exposure,
Right. So like ground floor. Now, in regards to liquid loans, please consider the alternatives that the wealthiest people in the world use to preserve their wealth. Because if you're getting in on the ground floor of something that's likely to appreciate a lot, you could find that you come into a lot of wealth. A lot, right? The PulseChain will likely make many, many, many millionaires and many billionaires. And what those people do to preserve that wealth is important, right? So when you collateralize against your best appreciating assets, that's how you keep your wealth. And I just want to cover just a little bit of math.
Go ahead.
If you had $20,000 and you sold half your bag every time it doubled, after 10 doublings, you would have $220,000. But oh wait, I think it's more like 140,000 because you'd have all these capital gains taxes you had to pay, 36% or whatever. Okay, so You just turned 20 grand into 140 grand. Congratulations. You went through 10 doublings. You should have had a lot more. Now,
Yeah.
if I had 20 grand and I simply never sold and I held through 10 doublings, which sounds crazy, but listen, Hex did 15 doublings. If I held through 10 doublings and never sold, I would have $20,480,000. So you sold every time you were in profit, you sold and you felt good because you were making money because everybody always told you to sell. And you ended up with $140 thousand. Meanwhile, I have 20,480,000 because I simply held and never sold.
Crazy.
Now I could collateralize against that the whole way, and I could do it at a safe level where I'm 10,000% collateralized if I want to, or 500%, whatever makes me feel good. And I can even do it in a fashion where I'm minting USDL and making money with that USDL simply by putting it into a stability pool or earning some sort of yield with it over here. Where if at any time I want to just pay back my loan, I can do that. But the point is, I have never sold that appreciating asset. And $20,480,000 after 10 doublings, I mean, that's significant. So, and I'm not saying we're going to go through 10 doublings, but
Right.
you can write down the math any way you want. You could do 3 doublings. You can do, maybe it'll only appreciate, it won't even do a double. No matter how you do the math, it works out that the guy who holds and never sells and collateralizes wins every single time.
Dude, this has got me so excited. Oh man, because like I've never had the opportunity to. I mean, shit, I'm new, but I've never had the opportunity to be in on a ground floor with anything, and it's just got me excited, man. It's just seeing everything that's going on in this ecosystem, whether it be NASCAR, whether it be, on the PulseChain side, it's unreal, man. It just makes me so proud to be a part of the community, and that's a big reason why I started doing this. Is I want to drag people over from the other side, shall I say, and bring them over here. That's why when I do these streams, I kind of want to dumb it down as much as I can because not even for it specifically for the new people because once they see something like this, then I can direct them in a spot where you've been on streams and you get real technical and stuff like that. Because a lot of times I don't understand those streams, but I'll sit there and watch them 2 and 3 times to understand them. But I just want to have a platform for people on the ground floor just coming in, trying to, make it easy, dumb it down, and so they don't get scared off. So, but this is getting, it's just awesome, man. I love what you guys are doing, and I just can't wait. We got one more question here. Has there been any discussion about liquid long coin total supply? And that basically depends on the sacrifice, right?
That's correct. As sacrifice goes up, because I just explained a few minutes ago, 10,000 points per sacrifice dollar, and then there's bonuses and stuff people can get. So that literally can't be calculated until all the sacrifice dollars are in.
Right. Let me see. How many long to wait?
Same. I think
Will
that's
it
kind of the
be?
same question.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It will be a fixed
Well,
supply
man,
though, based
right,
which we can calculate after sacrifice.
right. Well, man, I appreciate you doing this. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Any exciting news? Anything? Just
Um,
a last.
yeah, this was unique. You're fairly new to crypto. I imagine maybe even some of your community is fairly new to crypto. If you hadn't have heard about this, like you would have just done what you've heard other people tell you to do. Yeah, take profits, sell, take profits, get your initial
Yeah,
out. And then later on, you would have just watched the price continue to go up forever after you sold. And you would have kicked yourself in the ass, why did I sell so early? So, but on the other hand, education is critical. Don't jump into something that you don't understand. I don't want people to jump into liquid loans and collateralize at 110% and get liquidated like a minute later and lose their pulse coin and then wonder why that happened. Now, granted, you could just go buy it back. You already got your USDL up front, but we want people to understand how to use this protocol. Education is critical, please. So go to the Telegram, t.me/liquid loans, ask all the questions in the world, before you just dive in head first.
Right.
Thanks for your time today.
Well, man, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate y'all coming on here. Me being such a little and new YouTuber, I appreciate y'all's time, man. It means a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Have a good one, buddy. Yep. Let's see. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody watching. Like I said, this is my first, live stream, and I had a little bit of technical difficulties at the beginning. I wasn't able to do it on my laptop, so I had to do it through mobile. But I just appreciate you guys stopping by, man. It means a lot to me. And it's like I told him, I want to create a platform for, newer folks to come in and try to understand stuff on a bottom level. Because I know when I first got in and I was watching channels, they were talking all this, high tech stuff like that, and I couldn't understand it. And it kind of drove me away, and it drove me down the wrong path at first. And it got me wrecked. I got fucking wrecked hard the first, couple months I was in crypto, and luckily, I seen BitBoy's channel, and as much shit as people give BitBoy, he's brought a lot of people in, and I'm just so glad I found this family and community, and it's something I want to be a part of forever, and it just gets me excited. And I love seeing all the comments coming in of you guys. It's been so supporting. And if it wasn't for y'all, man, I wouldn't have done this. Because when I first started doing videos, I thought my shit sucked. I thought it was terrible. And just seeing people, backing up what I'm doing is awesome. Crypto Kindness has reached out to me. I've talked to him, and he's been a big, big inspiration towards me. And I just love each and every one of you. Let's go through some comments here before I get off. Jesse is a good teacher. Learned more in 2 months since knowing him than I have in 2 years. Yeah, man. When I first saw them start doing live streams with the community, I knew I wanted to get him on a stream of mine because I could see how smart these guys are and how eager they are to be a part of this community and want to bring good things into the PLS ecosystem. Um, and the way he describes things is awesome to new people. Because man, I'm not smart. I'm just your ordinary guy that works a 9 to 5 job, and I'm just trying. I've been one of these guys that just sit back and watch live streams, and not really comment much. I've started to now, but I've just been sitting back trying to learn, man, because there's so much to learn, and I haven't felt like I know enough to put my voice out there. But now I feel I've kind of found the calling that I want to do, which is reach out to the newer people, because you don't have to know, you don't have to be a genius in crypto to introduce new people to an ecosystem. Because once they come in contact with me, I can send them out to all the other guys, like in the chat, like HexyCat and all these other guys, Muhammad. I can send them out to y'all, and y'all can direct them in a place where they can learn more. And that's it's just one big chain. They start with me, I'll push them through. That's kind of what I want my platform to be about. And I'm gonna start getting out here a little more, trying to get on some more streams. Because I'm nervous as shit, man. This is my first one being on camera, and it's new, and it's got me out of my comfort zone. HexyCat, you only get better from here, man. My first stream with Matt, did on my phone too. Yeah, and I appreciate your cool comments too, man, on my Twitter. Giving me a boost of confidence. But yeah, that threw me for a loop. I was in the green room with them, and I guess my Wi-Fi connection was just totally shit. And I was like, hold on, man, I gotta go on my mobile because I don't want to miss this. I don't want to let the community down. So that's what I did, and you know, luckily, luckily we got it done. Danielle, awesome job. I appreciate it. Onwards and upwards, broski. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. I really appreciate y'all being in here and supporting me. Supply of loan token is based on sacrifice. It is, and then if you want to rewind, in the beginning he went over a lot of this stuff. I don't know if you showed up late, but he went over a lot of it. Hexacat. After that, it's finite, and there will never be any more in circulation. The rate of loan you earn, being a stability provider, halves each year, like Bitcoin. Yeah, you're right. Is there anything you guys want to talk about in particular? I still got a little bit of time here. You know, the first few live streams I've done, I've never had anybody in the chat, so I've never really had to interact with anybody. But this is kind of cool, man. I'm gonna start, like I said, I'm gonna start doing it more. Because this community is so great, man. I can't, I sound like a broken record when I say that, and but it's true. It's true. I've never had anything like this in my life. Because me, man, I'll share a story with y'all real quick before we go. And I know my audio is probably terrible. I don't have a microphone hooked up to my phone, but I was a drug addict. I was on heroin for 7.5 years, um, and I'm only 3 years clean now. And getting introduced to this community was the best thing I ever did. Um, I actually see it gives me a drive and it makes me feel like a part of something, and going through what I did, and I've come to find out, there's a lot of people in this community that kind of has the same background story as I do, about being an addict. But at first, I was kind of worried about, like, do I share that with people? I'm going to get a lot of hate. I'm going to get, don't trust this guy. He's an ex-addict and stuff like that. But then I had a conversation with Crypto Kindness, man. He was just like, that's your story, bro. Screw what everybody else thinks. Screw what everybody else thinks. This is your story. You know, what you bring is unique than what everybody else brings. And, when I heard that, it really changed everything. It put some fire under my ass to continue doing what I'm doing. Well, I like how that sounds. Liquidity coin distribution was a train wreck. Glad it's not like theirs. 100%. Loan will do really well. Thanks. But yeah, what I was saying about it though, man, is, I'm just glad to be a part of something. I'm glad you guys, are here. I'm glad you guys welcomed me with open arms. The support's great. But I'm about to hop off here in a minute. Are y'all watching the Super Bowl today? Y'all got any bets going around on who you got to win? I think the Bengals will take it away. I'm hoping. Hexacat, allowing users to lock up loans for potentially 2.5x multiplier will allow people time to max their number of tokens and can see how the pools yield. Yes, sir. Muhammad, we're all going to make it. We are, man. As long as we got each other, we're going to make it. We all have a past with some scars, Hines. Yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that. We do. And the good thing about it now is, we've made it out the other side. And, and I don't truly regret some of the stuff I did, because if I never went through it, it wouldn't make me to the person I am today. And it makes it to where I can reach out to other people and try to be a light to them, because I know what they went through, I know how they feel, and sometimes just the connection with somebody else is all somebody needs to get pulled out of something. And because that's what happened to me. And if it wasn't for that, then you never know, I might still be out there, I might still be locked up, and still be in the trenches. So, as long as we got each other's back, as long as we got a core community in this space, man. And the thing about it is, there's no other coin or project in this space that has a community like Hex or PulseChain or PulseX. None. If you show me one, I'll bow down and kiss your feet. You ain't gonna show me none, because it's impossible to find. But you know what this community has is so amazing, man. Life changing, amazing. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Be true to your story, bro. Yes, watching SB should be a good game. Yeah, it should be. I'm pretty excited. The funny thing is, man, I've seen, most of the commercials that's going to be on the Super Bowl are going to be crypto commercials, Tom Brady and all that other stuff. And I just think it's crazy, man, because, it's so different from a year ago when, crypto was really frowned upon. It was getting, the advertisements were getting banned. They weren't allowed to share anything. And now, if you go to Las Vegas, it's plastered everywhere. Everywhere on the Las Vegas Strip, it's crypto.com, it's this and that. And now the Super Bowl is just going to be flooded with crypto advertisements. You got UFC advertisements. It's just crazy. And now, February 20th, we got a fucking NASCAR. It's unreal, man. This community is so awesome, and I'm just so glad to be a part of it. That's life. It tests and the choices we make. It's 100% true, man. 100% true. Well, guys, I'm about to jump off of here. This has been awesome. I just want to thank you guys again for showing my support, coming in here and asking some good questions for Jesse. Um, Hopefully, I'll be doing more of these with new people. And I'm just, if you haven't never seen me before, I'm Paul. This is Heinz Crypto, and I'm on the come up in the community, man. I just want to get my name out there. I want to be a shining light wherever I can be. And so if y'all would hit the like, subscribe, share this out there. Um, if nothing else, you can just you ain't gotta subscribe, you ain't gotta like it, just share it. Somebody might need to see this that's new to crypto and that's lost and confused. And if I can just help one person with the community I do, with if I can just I can't even talk today. If I can just help one person with the content I create, that's a win in my eyes. I'm not on here to impress anybody. I'm not on here to become some big YouTube guy or anything like that. I just don't want people to have to go through what I went through when I first got into crypto. So, guys, I appreciate y'all coming. I'm sorry the audio was terrible. I had to do it on my phone. Hopefully, the next one will be better. I hope y'all have a great weekend. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and I'll see y'all next time.